3-act story. The Hollow Men of Badger's Drift. Act 3, Breaking the Pact. The Circle Unbroken. The forest was no longer just a forest. It felt alive, shifting with an intent Avery couldn't ignore. Every twisted branch clawed at him like skeletal hands. Every step echoed like a drumbeat, urging him forward and deeper into the unknown. The black shard in his hand grew colder, its strange carvings pulsing faintly as if responding to the encroaching darkness. He didn't know how far he'd run. Time felt warped here, the hours stretching and collapsing all at once. The fog thickened, clinging to his skin and muffling the sounds of the hollow men behind him. Their ember-like eyes, flickering faintly through the haze, were his only markers of pursuit. A sudden rustle snapped him from his daze. His instincts flared, and he whirled around, shining the flashlight into the mist. The beam caught movement, a spindly limb retreating into the shadows. "Still here," Avery muttered, his breath visible in the frigid air. Ahead the forest began to change. The trees grew farther apart, their bark darkened and split as if burned. The ground sloped upward, revealing a faint trail carved into the hillside. There was something unnatural about this place, as if the land itself had been touched by whatever force bound the hollow men. The shard in his hand flared suddenly, its light growing stronger as he neared the hill's crest. Avery slowed, his heart hammering in his chest. He had no plan, only the desperate hope that whatever was drawing him here could provide answers, or, at the very least, an escape. When he reached the top he froze. The hill flattened into a wide plateau, its center dominated by an enormous stone circle. These stones were larger than those he'd seen before, towering and cracked, their surfaces glowing faintly with intricate carvings. The patterns pulsed in rhythm with the shard in Avery's hand, their glow growing brighter as if responding to his presence. Around the circle the fog seemed to part, swirling and twisting unnaturally, held at bay by the strange energy emanating from the stones. Avery stepped forward, his footsteps crunching against the brittle grass. The air here felt heavier, charged with an electric tension that made his skin crawl. As he approached the center of the circle, the shard in his hand began to vibrate, its coldness biting into his palm. He stopped at the edge of the stones, his breath catching in his throat. Carvings of twisted figures and spirals covered the monoliths, eerily similar to the designs he'd seen in the church and on the shard itself. But these